How's it going, guys? My name is LongBarrel. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Map Knowledge, a series where we talk about different maps and a bunch of different tips and tricks on them. For today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to hold A/long A on Overpass. If you guys have missed the episode where we're talking about mid, it will be in the top right hand corner right now in a card. So holding A from the actual site might come in later when you have to back off from mid, or if you simply decided to play passive and you're holding it from sight. With each situation is going to vary as to how the mid-round game goes. But either way, we have lots to talk about as to how to hold A from the attacking enemies. Before we actually start talking about defending A site, we're going to talk a bit about long A since we haven't actually talked about it when I made the mid video. Holding A long, there's a lot of different ways you can play it. Just kind of like mid area, you can choose to play aggressive from this rock, from this tree, from bathrooms, from flower pot, and you can even play it from the back by bank and so forth. In most cases, you are going to have two people playing A. Therefore, it is very important to coordinate with your teammates as to where you are playing and how you are holding. In A long, your setup should be quite simple. You should be efficient by holding the run out at A long, maintaining to make sure that they're not taking this area under their control. If you're holding past the bathroom line, you should always make sure you have somebody controlling the bathrooms area. That way you don't get shot in the back while trying to maintain the front of the long A entrance. One of my favorite setups that I like to do is with a teammate, I have one person shouldering like this, and while I'm sitting here in tree, literally baiting, and as soon as he takes contact, he can back off, I swing and I take the person out. Now keep in mind, this will only work in the early rounds, because once they start taking mid control, you will not be able to do this for much longer, as they're going to try and come out long bathrooms and take you out in the process. Another area you can consider is this flower pot right here. Essentially what people do is they get up on this box, they get an op out, and they hold this angle like this. You see Fallen holding this angle a lot in his official matches. What he does is he holds this angle and waits for anybody coming out long A, while whoever's playing with him on A will continue holding short and maintains his bathrooms. That way he doesn't get flanked. As soon as he gets spotted, he can just back off like that, take the shot, swing out like this if he's feeling frisky, and continue kind of holding and maintaining this area without really putting himself into too much of a risk. The moment it starts to get dangerous is when the terrorists start to get the bathrooms control, when the short guy ran off to A site and you're forced to defend A from the actual A site position. Now some people also like to hold in long A sitting in this corner. Some teams forget to check this area, and the CT might get an easy kill or two. Now the only problem with this spot is if you get one kill, it's going to be an automatic trade. That's why, because there's not a lot of places you can really back off after that without really exposing yourself to all of these angles in long. I guess the last spot you can really defend from right at the border of long A is in this corner right here. This is one of the most gambly spots on site. Essentially, you can hold this corner and pray to God that they don't check you, and if they don't check you, you can get 2 or 3 kills. We've seen a lot of people hold this spot and it work out for them, but at the same time, if they just as much as swing out this much, they can see your hip and they can simply kill you in the process. The rest of the A site extends into just this little area right here. The A site is divided into a bunch of little spots. There's this one on the left, the truck. There's the truck angle, which many people hold. There is my team likes to call the dice angle, or kind of the default boxes. There's the APC angle, there's the bank angle. You can hold it from what we call dumpster or jump up angle. You can hold it from billboard and work this area, swing out like that. You can never really say which spot is truly the best. It's all situational, and they all have their drawbacks and disadvantages. For the sake of the video, we're going to talk about setting up on the site based off of your decision to play passive and not as a direct result of you getting pushed back from mid. For all the scenarios, we're going to assume we have maximum availability of utility. So when setting up on the A site, you always want to have at least one guy spotting long and at least one guy spotting short and bathrooms. There's usually almost always one guy on site doing the jump peaks onto short and bathrooms and doing the occasional shoulder peaks onto long A. In a good setup, you want to have one guy, at least one guy holding your long run out while you're holding his short run out. So you'll know people are going to be going A when they start to throw flashbangs, Molotovs onto truck, smokes, onto site and all that stuff. And it is very important to know how to continue to hold against those kind of pushes, the flashes you can throw, the Molotovs you can throw, and so forth. I'm going to show you guys a couple of smokes and mollies you can throw from truck and how you can use that to your advantage in order to maintain control of the site. Because truck is one of the most popular positions, you can hold it from here, hold it from here. You can throw some smokes without really being too exposed to any of these kind of angles or these angles. If you wish to smoke long A from truck, you can walk into this middle I-beam. Just simply walk into that. Now you want to take a look at the right side of this tree. You want to look at this point and then the kind of like a bit more to the right. Left click throw, the smoke is going to bounce off the wall and smoke off a main quite perfectly. If you want to have a teammate peek off of that, same lineup for a pop flash. As you're going to see, this pop flash lands really perfectly and with the wall. So once the pop flash comes in, it's going to just barely clear the wall and blind anybody that's trying to push up like this. You can have a teammate ready to peek off that. If somebody asks for a flash, you just line that up, toss them, and see what happens. Same idea with the Molotov, same exact lineup. Throw the Molotov, it's going to fly in, pop onto the ground, and cover the majority of long A. You can even do a push throw if you wish for it to kind of spread a little bit more evenly, up to you. The best way I found to smoke off bathrooms is through this little lineup. You want to look at these two flowers right here. You want to cover the left one with the wall like that. Take a couple of steps back. You want to aim between the wall and this flower, and then simply do a bit of a running throw. The smoke will pop onto the entrance like that. If you want to line up a flashbang onto short, here's a really neat lineup you can throw. You want to get up on truck itself, aim at the exhaust pipe, walk straight into it. You want to aim just at the top of this tree branch right here. Do a middle click throw, and it will arch over the building and blind anybody holding this angle without them being able to dodge it for even a split second. It's an amazing pop flash. If you can execute this right and have a teammate peek off of that, the person can get a lot of frags. So moving on to kind of the default area, the APC and bank area, there's one little neat trick I'm going to show you guys how to smoke off bathrooms quite perfectly every single time. So if you take a look at where the cafe is, you want to look at the middle white post like this, and you're going to use the middle one as your crosshair every single time, no matter where you are around this area. So no matter where you are, you're going to use that as your lineup. You're going to be lobbing smokes.
Laying down smoke. Throwing smoke. Laying down smoke.
And apart from this one, obviously, that I think I overshot, they all landed in bathrooms using that one simple lineup. And they all come in and bounce in and smoke off bathrooms really perfectly. Same thing goes for mollies, right? You can simply do like a running throws from pretty much anywhere you are. And keep in mind that the closer you are, the kind of lower you kind of have to aim, and it's all going to go into bathrooms and molly that off perfectly. It's really good for retakes and all that stuff. A nice little neat smoke that I found to smoke off Speedway, kind of like by the bathrooms entrance on the side there. You walk into the middle of this APC. You're safe from long. You're safe from every other angle. Now you want to take a look at this tree cluster like this. Kind of come in where the open area is in between these two branches. Left click throw, and the smoke will land perfectly kind of in the entrance here. They are not getting in through that. From the inside, they're also being denied information. They cannot come in from the edge without really risking their life. So I guess the last bit of smokes and flashes I can show you is from kind of the back area right here. You might end up here by getting pushed back, or if you play a retake A, whatever the circumstance is. If you find yourself in this position and you want to throw a couple of smokes or mollies, here's a couple of good lineups that I can show you guys. So the first one, you line up yourself in the corner. You want to look at the right branch, just aim at the top of it, kind of where the telephone line is. Left click throw, and it's going to land into the entrance of bathrooms like that. A flashbang you can throw is line yourself up on the left side of this truck window, goes all the way up until you hit this post, and then do a bit of an extended push throw. As you can see, the flashbang goes quite far, and it goes straight into the short A area, and it's going to blind anybody holding like this area or a little bit more closer to this area. Kind of the same deal with long A here. If you want to get a couple lineups for the smokes, to smoke off long A, you want to take a look at this lamp right here and the wire. All you're doing is you're coming in between the wire and the pole, kind of diagonally, right in the middle of those two. Left click throw, and bam. Perfect smoke for long A. Same thing goes for the Molotov, except you're going to have to aim a little bit higher and do a little bit of a push throw. Something like that. The Molotov is going to come in and going to pop on the ground. Just like the mid area, there's a couple of boosts you can actually try, and it will hopefully make your day a little bit easier holding down the A site. Before the terrorists obviously take the site, here's a couple of ways you can boost up your opper and to try and get a couple of good kills. So the first boost is by a billboard over here. You're gonna have to get onto his head. Once you get up on his head, as you can see, you get a really decent angle into bathrooms and short A. Now keep in mind that your head is quite visible in this angle, so I would recommend getting a shot as quickly as possible and then getting the hell out of there. A really popular boost that a lot of people like to do is they'll get a guy to crouch on the dice area right here. They'll jump on his head and they'll get an op angle onto speedway like that, and even bathrooms. It's a really good way to catch someone off guard. Again, your head is quite visible in this situation. Play around with this angle, try it out for yourself, see what works best for you, and have fun with it. Another quite popular angle is they'll have a guy kind of right here by APC. The upper will get up on the guy's head, and he's going to hold the angle onto short, kind of into bathrooms and long A area. It's a really good boost spot, but the only problem with this spot is the amount of angles you have to worry about. You can't be going like this the whole time, just looking for a guy to pick. One of these guys is sure to see you and is sure to take your dome off. And last but not least is the boost right behind this fence, right behind dumpster. You get up on the person's head, and you don't need an op for this. You can actually just get boosted up with the rifle. This is a really good boost for retakes, but the only problem is when you're making that initial jump to get the person to get up higher, they can see your head in that initial jump, so you might get spammed out of this position or just get your dome taken off right off the bat. So that is going to do it for me for today. I hope you guys learned something new and enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have missed any other tutorial, the playlist will be in the top right hand corner right now. My name's LongBarrel, and remember, be water, my friends.